I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online. People in this country have a right to be safe, and yet we've seen Muslim communities targeted, attacks on mosques, other minority communities singled out, Nazi salutes in the street, attacks on the police, wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is, far-right thuggery. If you target people because of the colour of their skin or their faith, then that is far-right, and I'm prepared to say so. But it doesn't matter what apparent motivation there is. This is violence, it is not protest. It doesn't matter what the motivation is. The motivation for the vast majority of people in this country is to see their streets safe, and that's what I'm determined that we will deliver. I think there needs to be the full force of the law, and I think it needs to be swift. What happened in 2011 was that we were able to see individuals who took part in violence arrested, charged, remanded and convicted very swiftly. Standing arrangements are in place for that, and we will do whatever it takes to ensure that the message is absolutely clear that if you're taking part in this violence, you will regret it and you'll be brought to justice as quickly as possible. Thank you very much. The community of Southport had to suffer twice. A gang of thugs got on trains and buses, went to a community that is not their own, a community grieving the most horrific tragedy, and then proceeded to throw bricks at police officers who just 24 hours earlier had been having to deal with an attack on children in their community. And so I've just held a meeting with senior police and law enforcement leaders where we've resolved to show who we are. A country that will not allow understandable fear to curdle into division and hate in our communities, and that will not permit, under any circumstances, a breakdown in law and order on our streets. Because let's be very clear about this. It's not protest, it's not legitimate, it's crime. Crime is crime, and so to that end, I can announce today that following this meeting, we will establish a national capability across police forces to tackle violent disorder. These thugs are mobile, they move from community to community, and we must have a policing response that can do the same. And let me also say to large social media companies and those who run them, violent disorder, clearly whipped up online, that is also a crime. It's happening on your premises, and the law must be upheld everywhere. In relation to what happens over the next few weeks and months, it is obvious to me, and I think obvious to anybody looking in, that so far as the far right is concerned, this is coordinated, this is deliberate, this is not a protest that has got out of hand. It is a group of individuals who are absolutely bent on violence. And that's why it's important, I think, to pull together the senior police and law enforcement leaders as we did today. Thank you all very much indeed. We meet here around this table in the shadow of a horrific attack in Southport on young girls, and I think our first thoughts are obviously with the victims, their families, the wider community who are in raw pain and grief. Now, in recent years, as some of you will know, previous governments have engaged at times like this in a blame game. Those days ended with this government of service. We are here to work with you on what I consider to be a shared endeavour to keep our streets safe. This government supports the police, it supports what you are doing, and to be absolutely clear, this is not protest, this is violent disorder. We can talk together about the powers you have, the exercise of those powers, and how we ensure that we respond appropriately and with sufficient strength to this challenge.
As you know, as a force, we are shocked after the awful events of this week. Southport was a community reeling after the appalling events that you